Good afternoon. I'm Dominic Waldron, and this is for Gabrielle. And I've been asked to give you a bit of feedback on your form. It's a big shame I didn't get to meet with you today, but I do hope that what you find useful, or not. You know, every act is different, every piece of feedback is going to be different. Gabrielle, this is tragic. Like, you know, I'm all for a good tragedy, but I personally found this quite hard going. I'm sure you've already studied this, but there's two types of stories which everything falls into. Yeah, you've got your comedy structure, where things start really badly but they end well, and then you've got your tragedy structure, where everything starts really well and then all goes to pot. This is just a series of tragic events, which as an actor I would find quite hard because there's no range, there's no journey. It's just a series of really unpleasant things. So obviously that's up to you with what message you want to send, but I genuinely found it's too hard because there's no range, there's no real low or high points because it's just all that kind of very depressing strand. As an actor, I'd really struggle with this because you've got a real problem with your performances becoming boring. It's not like, oh, it's all rawish and oh, I've got to do this and I've got to do this, but then that's every scene. It's every point of the film, so you might need to lighten it or at least put some elements into it that aren't as bad. Which obviously that's up to you, maybe flashbacks to a happier family unit before the money issues and all this kind of stuff. I get the 25-year-old looking after the younger brother. That's fine. But he's saying like he's losing, like he's not getting jobs, this, that, and the other, there's no money. But you have to think realistically. I'm going to be watching this thinking, well, if he's got a severely disabled younger brother, then he'd be getting money from the state. So they would be able to afford to eat. They would. You know, you've got to address these issues. Why can't they afford anything in their cupboards? They would be able to. Yeah, you need to do a little bit more research, I think, in regards to the home lives of some of these people, because you might run the risk of being offensive. I like the whole bullying thing in the street. That's really nice. Oh, it's not nice, but it's a very strong image with a really kind of nice, kind of defensive family thing. That's really cool. But once again, you need to lighten it. Yeah, so maybe when the bullies go, he starts joking with his younger brother or playing with him, you know, and then he can get upset and angry. But you need to show some kind of range. There are a couple of character things which I find a tiny bit cliche. You've got the drug dealer, who's the psychotic and scary man. Go the other way with it. Don't have the psychotic, scary man. Have a really polite-looking, upper-middle class, soft, nice guy who could maybe flick like that and rip your head off and set fire to you while you're in bed. But flick it round. Try and give your audience a bit more depth. I want to see a nice guy who turns into that nasty drug dealer. I don't want to see the scary drug dealer from the off. There's no build. There's no climax. You're slamming out all these really negative things in a row with no build. So as an actor, I'd find that quite difficult. And then leaves the drugs on the side. Because your film is quite negative all the way through, I did see that end coming quite quick. So straight away, it's like, because there's no range, it's like the brother's going to find it. So I was actually waiting for that for a few paragraphs before the whole brother having a seizure and the guy just sat next to him crying. You need to lighten it, because otherwise you're not going to hit. You know, even if maybe the character finds another way to earn some money, and it's like, I don't need these drugs, I can just return them, and then he goes home feeling really great because everything's going to be fine, and he finds the dead brother. That's like, wow, that's tragic. But the whole kind of negative, and then everyone's dead, it's not shock to anyone, it doesn't build. But I love the end. I like the whole flashback to when the brothers are playing. There needs that, in my head, the emphasis needs to be on that. Even if you really focused your film on just two kids playing in a tree house, playing with a football, playing with a train set, playing with cars, running around being aeroplanes, with the occasional flashes of all the negativity in their current world, that would be much stronger than the focus being on the negative world with the occasional flashback. Go the other way with it. But your character seems solid, they're fine, but in regards to an hour-and-a-half feature film, it's going to get quite dark, quite depressing, quite boring, quite fast. But I wish you all the very best with it. And, you know, take it or leave it, mate. I'm just one actor. Another actor might go completely opposite. You know, everyone's different. Everyone reacts to the stimulus differently. And obviously, please remember that you're not here to talk with me about it. So I'm just seeing a couple of these lines. But I wish you all the very best with it. And, yeah, good luck. Take it easy.